Oh my goodness, is this supposed to be a redemption of the Volvo EX30? It's right here, everyone, the Volvo EX30 Cross Country. In my personal opinion, I found the Volvo EX30 to be overrated. I did not see anything interesting about it for what its price suggested and when compared to competitors. Check the link in the description for my car reviews on YouTube where I review the competitors and other Volvo cars. Now, when it comes to this Volvo EX30 Cross Country, I think this is a redemption. Let me explain you all why. Visually speaking, the front looks more Swedish. It kind of reminds me of Volvo trucks. Look at this. Now, even though this is plastic, it looks awesome, guys. And that too, you get a 360-degree parking camera. That's already cool. And I like this effect you get onto the front. Awesome looking wheels. They kind of remind me of what I've seen on Polestar. Roof rack with the spare tire on top. Although, let's be realistic and honest. You're not really going to go off-roading with this, are you? Hold on a second, everyone. It's not all pink roses. The interior is very similar to the normal Volvo EX30. There's no drastic change just because this is a cross-country theme. Now, I'm going to be very honest with you all. In my opinion, I always found the Volvo EX30 to be overrated. It was nothing really special for what its price suggested, guys. This particular Volvo EX30 Cross Country costs 59,000 euros. But the problem is, I've seen a lot of EV car manufacturers offer interesting EV vehicles for around the similar price range, guys. And please don't get me wrong, everybody. This is just my opinion because I've spoken to a number of Volvo EX30 owners. They all love their Volvo EX30. They all have positive things to say. Now, for a very long time, for many decades, Volvo has had a curse of never having the consistency when it came to the small car question. They always released one model and then they would get rid of it in favor of something else. They never had the consistency, unlike what they were doing with their estate wagons and their SUVs, guys. Well, they even had a collaboration with a Dutch car manufacturer called DAF. Now, DAF still exists to this day, but they build trucks. But that collaboration didn't end very well. They stopped the collaboration, but I think it left a good impact for Volvo in the Netherlands, because if you go to the Netherlands today, you will notice everyone loves the Volvo cars. They are amazing. In fact, I think Volvo cars are great. But when it came to the small car question, they didn't really have the consistency unlike other competitors. Now, if I'm being honest, I had the same feeling about the Volvo EX30. The Volvo identity has changed a lot. The only thing that remains of it would be the headlights over here. But otherwise, there's no grille. You don't see the Volvo grille. You only see the Volvo badge. But because there's no Volvo grille, it took me a bit of a while to get used to it. It could be a reference to Volvo trucks. I know Volvo trucks have a thing for this kind of front design. But then it should also be noted that Volvo actually had a vehicle that looked like a Honda Civic during the 90s and the very late 80s. It also had a humble nose. It had a humble front design. So this isn't really the first time Volvo has employed a humble front design. Now, onto the wheel arch, you see the hard plastic, the protection. This protects the body paint from wears in long terms, which is cool, everyone. And then also in terms of style, it gives it a cross-country theme to it. And to put the roof rack and the spare tire on top is very, very cute. In fact, I have a very strong feeling the Swedish police are gonna love this. I think this is meant for the Swedish police. Do you guys think that? Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Or maybe it's meant for the Swedish fire department or the Swedish search and rescue team. That would make actually a lot of sense. Putting the wheel all the way up there makes this Volvo EX30 taller than my Nissan Navara. This makes the Volvo EX30 quite tall, and this can be problematic when you want to park in a parking of a mall, let's say, or if you want to park in a garage. So just be careful with this. Maybe just remove the spare tire, or if you can, remove the roof rack. And this is where we come to a little bit of a problem, because the roof rack and the spare tire gives the Volvo EX30 Cross Country its identity. Before we go to the interior, I want to talk about the door a little bit. The door handle is very pleasant. I like the feel of it, but the sound of the door is nothing interesting, guys. Whereas whenever you open and close the door of a Volvo XC90 or the Volvo EX90, it has a more interesting sound. There's something more Swedish about it. Sounding doors are the Volvo trucks. Over to the interior of the Volvo EX30 Cross Country. It's very similar to what I saw of the normal Volvo EX30. So let's just have a seat. First of all, I touched the steering wheel and I have to say this has to be one of the best steering wheel. The top is very nice, but then as you go towards the bottom, it's a bit thicker than the top of the steering wheel. The feel is rather squidgy. It's a 3-spoke steering wheel. But for a price of 59,000 euros, I'm under the impression the interior is definitely missing something. Like you look at the door looks like something you would expect in a vehicle of less than 30,000 euros or even less than 20,000 euros. But wait, this is electric, right? And I mean, I've seen a number of electric vehicles that have at least an interior that look more interesting. I had the pleasure of recently reviewing a Renault 4, a Renault 4. It was less than 40,000 euros and its interior looked more premium than this Volvo XC30 Cross Country. So I'm not exactly sure what was Volvo aiming for this interior, but I think the fact that it's electric is where there's a bit of I think many car manufacturers have suffered the same problem where to answer the electric car question, they had to compromise on a lot of things. The window buttons towards the front are here, but then to open the rear window buttons, you have to push this thing over here, and then only you can activate the rear windows. I find this system clever. It consumes less space, but it's also something you have to get used to. I really don't like it personally. I prefer having all 4 window buttons. Call me old school over there. But now, when it comes to the air vents, it's a very clever system. It's on the simple side, just like BMW. They've also aimed for simplicity. The screen over here is nice. It's I think it's an Android system it's being functioned by. So it's cool. In fact, you know what? Later in the video, we're gonna have a driver's point of view of the interior, so you will see what I'm talking about, guys. And for a price of 59,000 euros, I find the Polestar 2 to be a bit more interesting. The Polestar 2 will definitely make you feel like you're sitting in a premium vehicle. Whereas sitting inside this Volvo EX30 Cross Country, even though it's 59,000 euros, you will feel like you're in a vehicle which is, I don't know, less than 30,000 euros. And that too, the interior, it seems to have a bit of an identity crisis because Volvo interiors have a particular design about them. Now, sitting inside this Volvo EX30, it's a bit of an identity crisis. It kind of reminds me a bit of something a Chinese car manufacturer would do, or it looks like it was smart, because I know Volvo, this Volvo EX30 is actually based on the same platform as the Smart #1, if I'm correct. So that's where there's a bit of a smart influence, and that's something I find All right, everyone, let's have a driver's point of view of the interior. So first thing you'll notice is that the seating adjustment is very simple. You rely on this entire circle over here, this entire swivel wheel to adjust the seating adjustment. It's a clever system. They've aimed for simplicity, but I'm not exactly sure that this level of simplicity would play in the Volvo's favor, because the Volvo brand was known for its it's true the Volvo brand had a rather humble image compared to the German competitors, but they did also have some character in them, you see. This level of simplicity would be something you'd expect to see in a Chinese car manufacturer, or in a Tesla, or perhaps even Audi, although Audi hasn't gone that techy yet. And there's no instrument cluster, guys. You just get a little detail over here. I think this is for your warning lights or so. Whereas it seems like they kept everything onto the screen over here. Even your readings for your automatic transmission is over there. Your automatic transmission is right here. So it's just like a good old American car. Actually, American cars of today love putting it there, I think. And I know many German car manufacturers, I know Mercedes in particular is obsessed with putting the transmission right here. I find it pretentious, but then to be fair, it's not new. Many car manufacturers actually used to do that. And this creates more space in the middle over here. 2 cup holders. And here's the thing for your window controls. And this is your infotainment system. It's very nicely detailed, but that's because it's an Android system. You can even watch YouTube in this car. This is nice. It's a good feature. You get your climate control as well in the infotainment system. The screen is where you control everything in the car from. You get a panoramic roof as well, but because of the roof rack up top, all you can see is the wheel. How clean it is. But seriously, guys, look at the door. Look at this. 59,000 euros, and you get a door that looks like it's come from a car of less than 30,000 euros. Over to the rear seat of this Volvo EX30 Cross Country, guys. So there's no drastic change, no drastic difference compared to the normal Volvo EX30. But one thing I can definitely tell you is that the rear seat is definitely not on par with other competitors I've seen for 59,000 euros. I think it's a bit on the cramped side, guys. You see, there's something about the seat that's a bit short, and you get enough headroom, but the leg room, the knee room is limited. Now, it can also depend on the seating adjustment of the driver's seat and the front seat passenger, but still, it's and you don't even get an 59,000 euros, and you don't even get an armrest over here. Okay, this has to be one of the most questionable. This has to be one of the most questionable rear seats I've sat on, guys. It's yeah, and then also you get the window buttons right here, but it's no backseat pocket. There's just a big storage space down there, but it's a storage space you can also remove. It's clever system right there. Now over to the boot space of this Volvo EX30, you have to push this button right here. Now, first thing you'll notice is that the boot lip is all the way up here, guys. So it's not exactly like a hatchback, although it has the shape of a hatchback. The body paint sticks out very proudly, and that's not very cross-country-ish, everyone, because when you're in the woods or when you're really going cross-country, I highly doubt you want exposure of your body paint right here. But then that's why, again, who says it's really for off-roading, huh? You get an adjustable floor, I believe, or if it's not adjustable, you get additional storage space underneath, which is very nice. But then again, when it comes to practicality, I feel like this Volvo EX30 is one step behind other competitors or vehicles with a price of 59,000 euros. So here's my conclusion of the Volvo EX30 Cross Country. For a price of 59,000 euros, this Volvo EX30 Cross Country has to be one of the most selective electric cars available. Because I've been around various electric cars, some of them which offer more status for money, some of them which offer better value for money. It looked like a new chapter for the Volvo brand. It looked very promising, but then at the same time, I was also thinking to myself, what exactly is the hype all about? Well, I didn't really understand it that much. And because when I look at the Polestar 2, the Polestar 2 makes a lot more sense. It's a real sedan, it's electric, and it looks stylish. It looks like something to dream for, if I'm being honest. Whereas when I look at this Volvo EX30, on surface, it looks like a giant hatchback. It looks like something meant to pick a fight with the Hyundai Ioniq 5. But the Hyundai Ioniq 5 is a hatchback-looking crossover SUV that looks stylish, actually, and that looks like something with a real history, because Hyundai started something long ago with the Ioniq 5, or even before the Ioniq 5. Whereas with the Volvo brand, first of all, they never had the consistency when it came to small cars or small crossover SUVs. And now, with this kind of design, already I saw some conflict. With the cross-country design, I think it enhances the style compared to the normal Volvo EX30. Having the roof rack and the wheel on top can make accessibility to certain areas difficult, especially when you're parking at a garage of a mall where the ceilings can be a bit low. That's where you have to be a bit careful with the wheel on top. This Volvo EX30 Cross Country is a rolling work of art. It's not always about having to get the work done. Sometimes you just need to look awesome. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment in the comment section below sharing me your thoughts of this Volvo EX30 Cross Country. And do you agree with my thoughts, or do you have a thought of your own? Please let me know, because I'm very eager to know what are you all thinking of this Volvo EX30. And check the link in the description for my other YouTube videos where I review other Volvo vehicles, whether they are electric or whether they are combustion. And I also review the potential competitors of this bad boy right behind me.